Hello and welcome to Fraggle Talk Classic, the unofficial Fraggle Rock podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. My name is Beth and I am rewatching for the millionth time.
My name is Julia and I'm rewatching for the first time in 10 years.
My name is Adam and I feel like I'm living a lie because it's my first time watching it, but we're recording this on a Sunday, not a first day. That's even worse than the last one I did. Although you're going to be listening to these out of order, so it's going to seem like I was teeing this one up for the better one.
And we have a special guest with us today.
We do.
Haha, a fourth person.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Today we have professional puppeteer Mark Gale with us.
Hello there.
Who has his own Muppet Wiki page, so this is legit and everything.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm on the wiki, everybody, so...
That's how you know it's official.
The real deal.
Oh, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. This is exciting.
And today we are talking about episode 4 of season 3, The Grapes of Generosity, which originally aired on January 21st, 1985, written by Jerry Jewell and directed by Terry Maskell. And one of the reasons we were hoping to get you for this episode specifically, Mark, is because apparently you got to be on the set of this recording when you were a kid?
That's right.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is right.
Did it smell like foam and sweat and joy?
Yes, all three.
I knew it!
And other things. Let's see. So I suppose you'd like to hear the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we would.
Well, so I've been doing puppets since I was a little kid, and I was one of the youngest people in Puppeteers of America, way back in the 80s, even before that, I think the 70s.
Nice.
When I started, and so I used to go to the festivals and do the little potpourri. They call them the puppet slams now, and there was a festival in 1983 in Michigan where Frank Oz was going to be there. So my parents were great. You know, they're very supportive, and we took a little vacation and went out there, and I did a potpourri show to Men at Work's Down Under.
Nice.
Classic.
Song.
And just blew the roof off the place.
Glorious. Oh, they heard the thunder.
They heard the thunder.
They should have run. They should have taken cover.
Taken cover. That's right. Very good. Very good. Vegemite sandwich.
Now I'm hungry.
So then Frank's father, Mike Osnowitz, was in the audience, and Frank wasn't at the festival yet. But he came backstage and grabbed me and said, "We have to introduce you to Frank." And I'm like, "Well, that's why I'm here. I want to meet your son." And so the next day, Mike graciously introduced me to Frank, and Frank was very nice. You know, he was there to do a whole show. He did a talk, and he brought out some of the Muppets, and we had an Animal and Cookie Monster and Grover, and it was great. And then we got to hang out a little bit, and my dad was like, "Well, how do you go about getting involved with the Muppets? How do you get a job? I know he's a little kid, but this is what he wants to do." And Frank was great. He's like, "Well, let me put you in touch with some of the people at Fraggle Rock."
You have a great Frank Oz impression.
Delightful.
Thank you. So he gave us some contacts. My dad made some calls, and before I knew it, this is the fall of '84, I believe. I got to go out there for a week. I got to take a week off of school. It was like an educational trip.
Nice.
But my English class had set up, well, when you come back, you have to give us a presentation. We'd like to see a slideshow or something, and you teach the class what you saw. I had no problem.
Say that sounds like an easy A.
Yeah, I'm also like, maybe I won't even come back. I just might join the Muppets right now.
Hide in the closet. They can't find me.
Right, I'm never coming back. So my parents and I went to Toronto, and I was there for a full week, and that was really my kind of official start with the Muppets. Weirdly, I was 12, but I got to meet everybody. I met Jerry and Karen Prell and Steve Whitmire, all the main players, and everybody except Jim. I did eventually get to meet Jim, but that's a different story for a different day. But I stayed very close friends with Jerry Nelson and got to work with him a little bit on Sesame Street here and there in his later days of his life. And yeah, it was still, I mean, I think about that trip every day. It was one of the most spectacular, amazing experiences of my life.
Amazing. That's really
That's
cool.
like the best origin story. I love that.
It really is, isn't it?
Hmm.
It really, I got the best one. And I got tons of pictures on my Facebook page of the whole thing. So if you want to take a look, they're all there. A little Muppet album of all my Muppet life, and they kind of open up that folder, that show, that experience, and it was fantastic. You know, I got to hang out with everybody. I did some puppetry for everybody in the green room on one of the breaks.
Oh, I love that.
Aw.
That's really sweet.
Were you nervous? That's got to be like trying to do a guitar solo for Jimi Hendrix.
It was. I was terrified, but you know, I was ready. I was also kind of confident that I was gonna knock it out of the park. And Kathy Mullen loved it and had me go into Doc's workshop and film it. So I redid the show in Doc's workshop. Yeah, I got my stupid little bird puppets standing, and they were doing Abbott and Costello's "Who's on First" in Doc's
Yo!
workshop.
Perfect.
I love Who's on First. I did the complete unedited version for my high school senior year drama final.
Well, there you go. See, it's a crowd pleaser.
Did you do that as a one-man show?
No,
Adam?
I got to be Costello.
Oh, okay.
I did it as a one-man show, though.
That's impressive.
That's fair. That's fair. I didn't have any puppets. I just had a wiffle ball bat and rage.
Oh, I love that. I love hearing how encouraging the original folks are of the kids who came through, and
They were.
some of them did go on to become these incredible puppeteers. And like John Tartaglia has another story of like someone who grew up watching the Muppets and then joined them, and like it's rare, but it does happen. And it's
Does
so
happen.
beautiful to see how many people's stories started with, you know, just being ordinary fans.
Yeah, and they're great people. You know, I kept the friendships alive all those years. You know, Jerry was, and every time I would see Jerry, he'd always make sure to say, you know, how are your parents doing?
Aw.
Which I just thought was really sweet because he kind of became friends with my parents too. Oh yeah, it was great. Karen Prell had a party at the end of the week and invited my parents and I to go, and I got to sit next to Jerry the whole night. And Karen was so generous. You know, she gave me a book that everybody'd signed as their characters. And
Oh,
That's amazing.
I just got to ask Jerry every question I ever wanted to know, and he was, you know, sat with me all night long. I was drawing pictures of his characters in the book, and can you sign Frazzle's autograph? You know, how would Frazzle sign his name?
If you happen to run into Karen Prell again, please pass on my most sincere compliments. She's the only person I've ever seen have a puppet do an impression of another puppet. And my mother was a puppeteer. I can usually clock a like technical tool that someone is using. I have no idea how she did that. Full stop. I have no idea. But she had Red do an impression of what's the culty dude's name again? It's not Large Marvin. It's
Cantus. You're thinking of Cantus?
No.
Marlin.
Marlin, right? Because they're very similar.
Oh, the one with the walleye and the
the one with the
one who wants to start a cult.
yeah. And she had Red do an impression of him, and I've watched that clip about 10 times, and honest to God, I could not tell you how she did it.
She's pretty amazing.
She really is.
Karen Prell.
Yeah.
But I sure will. I hope to see her again one of these days.
Aw,
Fantastic.
love that she's still working on Back to the Rock.
I know, that is great.
So as we go through this episode together, Mark, if you remember any particular details about, you know, what it was like on set that day, feel free to.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I will jump in.
Fantastic. We start off with Doc, and it's a very rare thing because we're actually seeing outside.
Mm-hmm.
We don't usually see outside with Doc. Is this the first time?
No, we've seen outside before. There was like that episode where Sprocket like got upset for some reason and he was like camped out on the porch.
That's
like
right.
he was
Right,
quote
with
unquote
the little
running away
bindle.
from home, but really he was just on the porch and wouldn't come back inside.
Now, I had never seen it though. It blew my mind, and I was right there. I was right,
That's
basically
rad.
where the camera is. That's where little Mark Gale is standing. So I was watching under the stage, watching Steve perform Sprocket.
So was this one of those sets that was built upright where the puppeteers could
Yeah,
stand fully?
yeah, right. There was basically one major. They had two major rooms, and one of them had Doc's workshop in it, and then over to the side was kind of like a blue screen area where they would shoot blue screen stuff. Gobo and Wembley's room was on the other side of that, and then the pipes that led up to the Fraggle hole
Hmm.
were right next to Doc's workshop. So it's kind of like
Oh,
one long.
Wow.
oh, that would be amazing.
It gives you a little picture of that studio.
Yeah.
And then the other one was gigantic, and that was where they had the Great Hall and the Gorg's Garden and the trash eats area.
Amazing.
I love getting to see the physical layout of spaces that you only usually see behind the It always reminds me
Yeah,
of like the hospital from Scrubs has the bar and their apartment just built in it because they rented the whole thing out, so they might as well use every room that they could to, film it.
There you go.
So Doc is really excited. He's made a porch chair for porch vibes, and he goes inside to get the paper, and he comes back out, and Sprocket is just asleep on it. And it's such a tiny little thing, but he tries to wake up Sprocket, and Sprocket does that little thing the animals do where they just kind of readjust a little bit while still being sleepy, and it's just so cute.
yeah. Steve was amazing as performing Sprocket. I mean, Sprocket. My aunt Diane thought it was a real dog.
Really?
My
I
God,
love that.
Aunt Diane, pull it together, will you? But he was amazing at that performance.
Well, this is a real dog move thing also, is like you get up and then because the spot is warm and it's the best spot to
Mhm.
be, you come back and a dog is there. Like that happens to me all the time with my job.
Right.
And then I don't have it in me to move them or ask them to move. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll
You
sit
can't.
on this side of the sectional and you have the good spot.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's their chair now.
Also, it's worth noting that Doc is, at least he says he's setting this up so that he can keep an eye on Schimmelfinny?
Yeah, and he's got binoculars. It's like a narc chair, just
Yeah.
spying on his neighbor.
Look, they didn't have the next door app back then. They had to do something.
That's real.
Yeah, it's an interesting point in Doc and Schimmelfinny's arc of like enemies to maybe friends at this point. Have they called each other friends yet? I can't quite remember.
I didn't remember them being friends until the very end.
Spoiler alert.
Uh-oh. Never mind. Erase that.
Oh, wow. Hold on. I blacked out for a second. We were talking about the porch thing, right? Where the Sprocket fell asleep?
Yep.
I'm sorry, y'all. I was on a grave shift last night. I'm just a little out of it.
Great, so you caught nothing.
Nothing of what?
Nothing happened.
Cool.
You missed
Oh, that's a
nothing.
relief. Okay, thanks for vamping until I
Yep.
regained consciousness, y'all. I really appreciate having supportive
Welcome back.
podcast hosts.
Welcome back, Adam.
There's this great bit where they switch to the establishing shot with Gobo, and we get just this little bit of twang in it. And it's something that I noticed we recorded the episodes for the season a little bit out of order. The last one that we did was one that you, the listener, are going to be getting to hear after this, which was the Pebble Pox Blues. But that one, the main song was a very bluesy song, and also the score behind the moments had bluesy vibes. And so it seems like they're taking this extra step musically in season 3 and making sure that all of the sort of background scores that they're using also match the genre and style of the main songs. And it's just such a small detail, but it makes everything just that much more cohesive. And I wanted to point it out and give major props.
That's lovely. I'm so glad you noticed that.
But so we get the premise of the episode, which is that Gobo has heard this legend from Moki about the grapes of generosity, and he just happens to go and find them. And he's very excited. And he's like, I'm going to take them back and I'm going to share them, and everybody's going to be so generous, but oh man, they look really good. I might just eat a couple right now. And he does. And there's just this great little song with these little wombat looking dudes.
Yes.
Yeah, wombats. Those wombats.
Yeah.
So
I
these are
I got a thing I got a little tidbit about that.
Oh, awesome.
So those little wombats, there's a performer there named Terry Angus.
yes.
And he took to me right away. He kind of took me under his wing at the studio and took me into the puppet rooms and introduced me to everybody in the workshop. They basically gave me free reign. I could just pick up any puppet that I wanted and play. So it was really like a playground for the entire week for me. I was bopping into the studio, bopping into the workshop. But after the show was over, I got a surprise package in the mail, and it was Terry had built me a little fox,
Aw.
a fox puppet. That I thought, my God, this is an official Muppet. I have an official Muppet. And it was used, they used the same fur. He used the same fur as what was on those wombat things.
Oh. Oh, that's really cool.
That's amazing.
Oh, I love these guys. They're apparently called Diggits, Diggit. And yeah, we've seen them in the background before, but they're gonna start doing some little background vocals for Gobo in a minute here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first time we've seen them sing along.
Yeah. I do also want to point out, it's just a great little world building detail. He says the gang is totally going to gorg out on these. And I love that in this case, gorg is being used as a slang word for just eating aggressively.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really cool seeing the way the language and the slang is intentionally created.
Right. Gorging out.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that happened here is Gobo has these fat cheeks. They actually made fat cheeks for him, so it looks like his cheeks are full of grapes.
Oh, I'd
so
heard that. Like they
cool.
had to make like a separate puppet just to get that
Yeah.
full cheeks effect.
Yeah, and I'll give you a little trivia there. My good friend Ryan Dylan Gale, of course Elmo too.
Mm-hmm.
He was freaked out by those.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
So we get a couple of really nice moments. Gobo tries to bring the grapes back to share them with people, and then he gets there and he's like, "Oh, I didn't run into anybody." And I'm a little excited. He's like, "Yeah, I didn't run into anybody." Oh, that's weird. Why would it sound like I don't want to share? I totally do. And then we get this glorious moment where Moki shows up and Gobo just instinctively hides the grapes behind him. And Moki's like, "Hey, have you seen Red?" And Gobo replies, "Who's Red?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one made me laugh out loud, like, because I had forgotten that, like, oh, right, one of the first effects of Gobo's kind of paranoia about, like, oh, not wanting to share with his friends is just this very obvious, like, what? Who? Huh? I'm not doing anything attitude that lasts for a very long time.
Well, and it's interesting because he acknowledges that it's happening. Like, he's like, that's so weird. Why did I just lie? Why am I hiding these grapes? So he knows that it's not in his character to act in this way, but he can't justify, like, he does keep kind of trying to justify his, like, well, that's weird, but I'm going to share them. And, like, but he does notice that something is off in how he's, like, interacting with his friends.
Yeah, which is honestly important for his growth in this episode.
Yeah. But we see him interact with pretty much everybody kind of comes through, right?
Yeah.
Moki comes through like 3 times.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people come into the room here. I mean, my God. Does anybody knock? They just come right in. I realize there's no door, but there's a lot of people coming in and out at all times here.
Yeah, privacy's got to be different in Fraggle Rock where no one has doors. Although
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
suppose
also, I assume, implied that nobody's gone through puberty yet, so there's a lot less of the, like, craving for privacy that I would understand in that situation.
Fraggle puberty is probably very different, which we don't need to get into.
Yeah, we can just skip right over that. I just wanted
Who'd
to...
have thought we'd be talking about Fraggle
Oh,
puberty
God.
this early in the episode?
Oh, there is this moment that I love where, to Gobo's credit, where Moki's like, "Oh, where'd you get that hat?" And Gobo's like, "Hat? What?" And like pats his head, and obviously it's that same, who's Red kind of joke. But also, I've done that. Someone compliments something I'm wearing and I have to like physically touch it to remember what the heck the thing is.
Yeah.
Like if it's earrings or something that I can't see, I have to
Literally.
remember, what am I wearing? What are you talking about?
I have
Thank you.
I do that with earrings to remember which earrings I'm wearing.
Yeah.
But it's a bananas hat because it's full of the grapes, and you can actually see the grapes coming out of the back of it.
Yeah.
Yup.
Moki is trying her best. She's like, "Oh, that is very attractive. It's unique."
I love that the trope we're hitting here is that the character is making just the worst deception rolls possible.
Oh, yeah.
But all the other characters are like, well, my character wouldn't actually try to roll insight on this. They would just trust him.
Right. Gobo's having a day. Let him do whatever Gobo needs to do.
Yeah. I do want to point out also, Gobo has this line where he's like, yeah, it's really weird feeling selfish. And I think that that's a really powerful representation of a thing to put in a kid's show. Because I think we've all had those moments as we were trying to figure out what being a person meant, where we realized that like a part of ourself that we weren't really comfortable acknowledging existed was making decisions for us.
Mm.
And I think Steven Universe talks about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Adventure Time sort of touches on it, but like that's not a thing that I've seen really represented in children's media, and it's a really important thing.
It is.
Kids need to understand that like there are going to be parts of yourself that you don't really want to admit about exist.
That's right. You got the good side of the bad.
Yeah, everybody's
side.
got them.
It's too good to
And
share.
if you just pretend that they don't exist, then they can do whatever they want.
Also, you can't learn if you don't know that it's there.
Exactly.
I find it fascinating that so Red comes back and asks to borrow Gobo's rock climbing trophy because she's putting on a big athletic excellence exhibition for the annual Jock and Jockesses picnic.
And I thought they were saying jock asses the whole time I was there. I couldn't understand what was going on with that, but I did think it was funny.
Subtitles are great.
Suffixes are tricky sometimes.
Maybe Gobo can be a bit of a jock sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, a bit.
He's definitely being a jock in this episode.
I love Red's outfit. She's so 80s with like the visor cap and the colors of her jacket. Like the second that she's like,
yeah, it's all teal.
Yeah, the second that she's like, oh, this is like for sports, a jock thing, I was like, oh yeah, they're just really hamming up the era that they're in. But yeah, jockesses isn't a word. Also,
Right.
I'm fairly certain it's interesting they wanted to make I guess because they wanted to make it clear that like any gender can be a jock, but also that felt like it didn't necessarily needed to be included, but whatever,
It was a long time ago.
Choices. True.
Time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Another fun fact is Karen Perel had a terrible cold during this episode. And if you listen, you can tell Red has a terrible cold in this episode.
Oh.
Interesting.
Very nasally. So next time you watch it.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to that.
Yeah.
There's also just this great little moment where Gobo's like, oh, I got to hide these. And so he hides them in this trophy. And then Red wants to borrow. She's like, can I ask you a favor? And Gobo's like, oh, anything for you, my friend. Anything you want. And she's like, can I borrow the trophy? And he says, no, absolutely not. And Red says, what do you mean no? And Gobo says, well, not yes.
Yeah. That's something to take to the streets, everybody. I mean, not yes.
That's so good. My favorite one of those is, and I would use it when I was a teacher pretty regularly, is to be like, oh, here, well, let me say it in Spanish. No.
Nah, zinger.
That's good. After Red, Moki comes back a third time, and this is where Gobo like weirdly slips up, where he brings up to her like, oh, I was thinking about the grapes of generosity, and that's a silly legend. And she's like, wait, we weren't talking about the grapes of generosity. And it's just, yeah, we've seen him like, who's Red, but then also, he's so nervous and so like clutching for like things to divert that he basically just like brings it up himself. He just goes full circle. He's really grabbing at straws.
Yeah, it's very funny to see Gobo so off his game because he's usually kind of the solid guy.
That's true.
But this one, his paranoia is eating him alive. And Jerry Nelson is very funny in this episode with that.
Yeah.
And like, that's another really important thing that kids will do when they're worried about something is they'll kind of try to talk about it, but not directly. They'll just kind of bring it up and kind of hope that the conversation gets there.
Yeah.
And so getting to see that demonstrated is just fantastic.
And sure enough, the legend proves true that if you don't share the grapes of generosity, you start becoming weightless.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I walked into the studio the first time when they were shooting that scene.
Ooh.
Gobo was floating when he's got his hand on his head and he's reading a postcard and he's floating.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first visual as I walk in to the studio.
Wow.
God, what an image. I imagine that had to be done over blue screen.
Yeah, it was over blue screen. Jerry was behind a blue panel and Gobo's kind of in front of it. But he's got Rob Mills and somebody else was on the other side doing Gobo's legs. It was a whole crew because everybody's working Gobo's appendages.
Yeah, I was impressed how much weightlessness they managed to get into this episode with so few blue screen shots. Like, a lot of it is just like very careful, like regular style puppetry of, that kind of airy quality to Gobo's movements.
That's right.
Very impressive. Yeah. And then we get this interesting postcard where Traveling Matt just starts shoplifting from the grocery store because he has no concept of currency.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we know that he has encountered money a number of times at this point in previous episodes, like between the wishing the coins in the fountain, putting money into meters, he is familiar with coins, but also not, I guess, the concept of them still. It eludes him.
Mm-hmm.
So we did record a episode later that's coming that we talked about how there was absolutely no tie-in whatsoever with the main theme of this episode. And this one was interesting because he just mentions the grapes of generosity like outright when he's in the grocery store. So that was like an interesting juxtaposition where that's how they justify doing it. He's like, there are grapes and I'm going to mention it. And then he tries to steal food.
I also like that he describes the food as a lot of cylinders and some weird cold bricks.
That is true. Also, a lot of Campbell soup product placement.
There was a lot of product placement. I noticed that.
Yeah. Muppet Wiki says that when this episode would air on the Hub, all the products behind him would be blurred out for that reason.
Oh.
Interesting.
Again, it seems like something that maybe back in the 80s, it just wasn't a big deal.
That's my guess.
Yeah. Nobody thought about it.
And it's funny that, like, the customers and the grocer are just kind of looking at Matt like, whose child is this?
Right. I mean, they're looking right at a Fraggle and nothing odd is going on here at all.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Is this then where Large Marvin shows up?
Yes. So this one was interesting because normally I feel like this is, if not the first time, one of the very few times we've just gone straight into the postcard without someone saying, let's read this postcard from Traveling Matt. But we do. And then we cut back and Gobo's floating, reading the postcard to himself. And then he hears Large Marvin and Rumple coming, which Rumple was the betting guy from a previous episode where he kept making bad bets against
the
Boober.
sports bet guy.
Yeah, because I was like, I know we've seen Rumple before, and I had to look on Muppet Wiki for it. And I was like, oh yeah, the one that like Boober keeps trying to like bet to lose to, but then Boober keeps winning. And we're like, Rumple has a problem. So that was cool to see him again.
Rumple's doing okay, folks.
Yeah.
I guess he's doing okay. He is a weird looking puppet. He is one of the only Fraggles that doesn't have feather hair. It's fur, which gives him a different kind of a look. It's a little difficult to see because he's wearing that.
Yeah, like a little
he's
aviator
wearing
goggles
like
situation.
a World War I flying ace hat or something. He's a funny puppet.
He's a fan of Snoopy.
With one of the funniest puppets ever made, Large Marvin, which, here we go. One of the best Dave Goles characters of all time.
Oh, I'm so glad Marvin's
Eyelids
back.
on this puppet are so good. I liked this one, too, because it felt like there was a little bit less of a sort of a punching down about the weight, and that was just sort of how his character was.
Right.
Yeah, nobody really ever mentioned it. It's just his first name, Large.
Yeah, it has not always been the best portrayed. I know that it was a lot more common to grab for that sort of thing as a comedic tool at that particular time in our comedic history, but also getting to see it not be used as comedy and just like, oh yeah, that's just who this dude is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was a nice little normalization moment.
He's just a guy.
And so Wembley comes back and Gobo is got a boulder in his lap to try to stop himself from floating away. And just the like nat ones on deception rolls keep coming. Wembley's like, why do you have a boulder on your lap? And Gobo says, well, I like to have a boulder on my lap from time to time. It's just, dude, that's what you went with? You had time even. You had time to get the boulder on your lap. You could have thought of something.
Wembley just thought, okay.
Yeah, he's just like, oh yeah, okay, fair.
I mean, honestly, I get it. I have a weighted blanket. Maybe Gobo could have leaned into that and be like, I've discovered I like the feeling of a boulder on my lap. This is me now. I'm just going to carry this around.
I had that thought about the weighted blanket when he later wants 8 blankets on him when he lies to Wembley about being sick. I was like, he's just making weighted blankets at this point. You know, so that one I get. But yeah, he lies to Wembley about feeling sick, and then he sends Wembley out into like the cave like tunnel hall to go find his guitar pick, which he doesn't think is actually there, but then Wembley does find a guitar pick.
It is there.
And Gobo's like, wait, you
mean it actually
one?
was there?
Yeah.
And that's another, you're talking about the lack of a lot of special effects on this episode. This is a good moment where Jerry is really selling it with Gobo floating in the bed there. He keeps hitting his head and just the legs are flapping about. Really great technical puppetry from Jerry Nelson.
Yeah, like you can see the struggle for Gobo when he's lying down of trying to hold himself down on the bed. It's really masterful work that Jerry is doing along with everybody who's helping Jerry.
100%.
And then Rumple and Marvin come back and mention that Red has challenged Gobo to a rock climbing contest, and naturally Gobo's ego gets the best of him. And he says, that does it, Wembley, hand me my boulder.
It's a great line.
Just a normal thing to say to your friend.
Yep.
There was a lot of, because I'm watching that all be shot, that whole thing with Large Marvin in Gobo's room, sitting in Doc's workshop. It's right across the way.
Oh, that's so fun.
Wow.
And boy, it was hard to not laugh. Because there was a lot of takes and a lot of ad-libbing and a lot of Dave Goals with Jerry. It was some fantastic behind-the-scenes stuff to get to be a witness to.
Yeah. Oh, God. Just getting to watch all the ad-libbing must have been an absolute blast. Some of my favorite clips are just the Muppet outtakes where, they have to set up for another shot and, set up the same shot again. And the puppets just sort of start talking crap to each other and just giving whoever performers are. It's just great.
Right. There was a ton of that going on. So it was hard to keep composure, especially being a little 12-year-old. I mean, I'm talking about floating on the ceiling. I was also floating right with Gobo.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to keep it together.
I can only imagine.
And then there's some more when we get to the this picnic scene. We've got all these characters walking around. There's like, a picnic basket. We've got a Fraggle, balancing a pickle on his nose. We've got someone on a pogo stick. We've got a Fraggle flying through the air in the background.
Mayhem.
Yeah, they always have so much going on in the background. It's just amazing.
It's another one with Terry. I don't know if you guys have talked about Terry Angus before, but one of his characters was Morris Fraggle.
Yes.
And you can always find Morris because Terry had said, I put glasses on him, and that's how I could find him in the shots. I'm looking for my puppet because he's got glasses. I think Morris is jumping around in there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think Morris Fraggle is the one who's balancing the pickle on his nose.
That's right. That's what I thought, yeah.
I love when we get to see the named characters come back and they're just hanging out in the background. I'm like, oh yeah, Morris is here. Of course he is.
Yeah, of course he is.
And poor Gobo is now just fully floating on the ceiling, trying to get to the Great Hall.
But he's stuck.
Absolutely stuck.
I think this is when we cut back to Doc and Sprocket, where Doc has reclaimed his chair.
Yup.
And Sprocket is crying and, whimpering and barking. And again, this holds up because also I have been in a spot that a dog has wanted and they've made a big deal about it. It's just very true to form.
It's another great shot that you never see because you're looking now at Sprocket full body standing up.
True.
Yeah.
He's like right outside the door there.
Mm-hmm.
And Karen Prell is doing the tail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I love full body shots of Sprocket are always going to be impressive.
So another fun technical shot.
And poor Doc is trying to reason with this dog. Like, it's my chair. I recovered it. I repainted it. It's mine. Like, okay, Doc.
Don't you understand, dog?
He needs to go through this process of, like, throwing a little bit of a tantrum before realizing, he'll get there.
He's going to get there.
So we get another song about friendship. And this one does feel just a little bit more generic, just like a little bit, but the harmonies in it are just amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely delightful.
Well, and the lead up to the song is when Gobo finally has to let Wembley know that he's weightless, which Wembley immediately thinks they're playing kind of like a Marco Polo game, and he's trying to find his friend, and then eventually he's like, oh, Gobo's on the ceiling, which there's a great moment where Gobo's like, don't laugh. I'm weightless, and then Wembley immediately starts laughing.
Yeah, and good for him.
And then goes, who's laughing? I'm not laughing, while he is laughing.
Wembley deserves a laugh.
This is very delightful.
It's crazy, too, because I'm not sure what's so hilarious about that, but, well, there you go.
He's on the ceiling.
It seems like more of a freak out. Oh, my God. It's not hilarity, but...
Probably, yeah, just Gobo being in a predicament.
I have a feeling that because Wembley is so suggestible, if Gobo had said, now don't scream,
true,
Wembley would have screamed.
Right.
But because he said, now don't laugh,
yeah, you nailed it.
You're setting Wembley up to be like, oh, that's the expected response.
Oh,
right.
I get, yeah.
Wembley does whatever the last person in the room told him.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. And that's another technical thing. No real special effects going on here. This is just Jerry up on a ladder.
Yeah.
Wow.
Literally, in the studio. He's just standing on a ladder with Gobo up in the sky and holding the legs down at times.
And throughout the song, you get this wonderful interplay between Wembley and Gobo playing with that weightlessness.
Right.
So this must have been a very complicated scene for Jerry and Steve to shoot.
It was. Right. Again, talking about the pictures, they're in my Facebook folder, and you can see them. It's basically was the whole thing, just people on ladders.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
And then we get the song, which I love, like, the choreography of it, of, like, Wembley pulling Gobo down from the air, then kind of, like, being on his back and, like, keeping him down, but then Gobo, like, does, like, a kind of mid-air somersault and his feet come up.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone, it's just, like, it feels like such a fun... I agree that, like, this song doesn't necessarily, like, stick out more than some other songs we've heard, but it's a fun friendship number.
You're right. It does have some good harmonies.
Yeah.
It's very good harmonies.
Yeah. And the physical comedy of it is a real choice.
Yeah, it's cute, too. I love seeing Gobo, or Wembley, jumping up and just kind of hugging on to Gobo. Very cute.
Yeah.
And I love that when Rumple comes back in, he's not batting an eye at Gobo giving his friend a piggyback ride.
No.
Normal Fraggle behavior.
Yeah, a lot of trust, right? A lack of guile because they have not needed it.
Yeah. So that's how eventually Gobo gets to the picnic, is with Wembley helping to weigh him down. That's a little backpack.
Mm-hmm.
And again, nobody there even thinks that's weird. It's just, oh, okay. I guess it's piggyback ride time.
Yeah, piggyback ride time, alrighty.
We get this great forced perspective shot with the... Red has gotten herself stuck up in a high place, trying to prove that she could win the rock climbing trophy from Gobo. And we get this wonderful shot of the tiny remote control Red puppet.
Yeah, the miniatures.
Yeah, and they had to make her like a tiny little visor and suit for the tiny puppet. It's so good.
It's amazing. It's amazing. That was when I first got to the studio. Before I went into the actual studio, I went into the part of the workshop, and they opened up a file cabinet, and there was all of the doozers, all the mechanical doozers, and they had out the small scale mechanical Fraggles. So I got to play with those with the mitt and.
Oh, you got to play with them. Oh, make them move and everything. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So good.
Oh, I love whenever those little remote control guys make an appearance.
Same.
Like, oh, there they are. They're doing the cool puppetry thing again. I do like that Gobo has this moment of, Rumple is kind of teasing Red like, oh, Miss Champion, maybe Gobo can save you. And Red's like, I don't need saving. And Gobo's like, she doesn't need saving. He knows his friend is a perfectly capable rock climber who's just
Might
maybe
need just a little
needs
support.
a tiny bit of a helping hand. Not like actual saving.
And so he uses his weightlessness to rescue her, and in doing so in front of everyone also admits that he ate the grapes of generosity solo, and that is why he is weightless. And it all comes clean.
But I'm not sure how he rescued her though. He floats up there and he's up there floating, and then he loses. And once he fesses up, Red saves him. He's just dangling from the trophy,
Oh, that's right.
and we never really see. Well,
Yeah.
how did this rescue go down exactly?
It's probably easier for the two of them to get down together instead of just one, I would assume.
She would have had to pull him up right out.
That's true.
Red Fraggle
Yeah.
super strength. I mean, pull him up onto the cliff.
I mean, she's arguably the strongest of the five.
She is pretty strong.
Yeah, she's the strongest for sure. But still, we never do. They just glossed right over that. Everybody just,
Yeah, there's a tiny moment in the background of that scene where everyone's cheering, yay! And Moki, I guess in this moment of celebration, just kind of takes a hold of Wembley and vigorously shakes him.
I missed that.
I'll have to check that out. I've never seen that. That's funny.
It's, again, probably a moment of, the puppeteers being silly in between takes, and that's the take that got put in the episode.
Yeah.
And there you go.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I do feel like this resolve does feel a little glossed over, and this sort of, like, moral or lesson resolve does feel just a little bit fuzzy at this point, which is similar, actually, to the last episode that we watched. The setup and the emotional beats and just sort of the representation of what we're seeing in this behavior is so fantastic. And then the resolve of, like, well, if you're feeling like you've been selfish, tell people and then share is there.
Mm-hmm.
And, we get the after scene with them eating the grapes and just wanting to give each other the shirts off their back and then realizing that they already have.
That's funny.
I love that scene opens where they're just hanging out wearing each
Mhm.
other's clothes
Right.
for
Yeah.
no stated reason.
Yeah.
All of that as the setup to a joke for giving someone the shirt off your
Right.
back.
For a couple of minutes there, you're thinking, what happened here exactly?
What happened
Back to
here?
Fraggle puberty again. What's happening in here?
Yeah.
just an innocent clothing swap between friends.
Just have a little clothing swap.
Did y'all never do that with your parents? You, like, changed clothes with your friend and tried to pretend that you were each other? Was that just
That
me?
was just you, Adam, I guess.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, get on my level.
Adam, I would love to hear you talk about the themes of this episode with our friend Anthony, who wrote the 40 Years Later review for this episode and absolutely hated it.
It's so, again, I think the representation of seeing someone struggle with a part of themselves that they don't want to acknowledge is good.
Mhm.
I don't like that is a magical quality, though. I think that cheapens the effect. I think that this would have been a much more powerful episode if Gobo had just been like, yeah, like, I tried them and they were really good, and then I wanted to share them, but I wanted to eat them more.
Right.
And you got to see the setup of those two conflicting desires, and you got to see, like, hey, sometimes there are multiple parts of ourselves and they each want different things.
Yeah, the lore is a little confusing in that the grapes of generosity only make you generous if you're already generous, and that if you are struggling with selfishness, it's only going to make you more selfish until you learn a lesson about it, but then it's going to make you weightless in the meantime. It's a very confusing magical system.
Yeah, it does not seem as clear as it could be, and one of the things I think that is frustrating also is, like, the weightlessness. It could have been, and I see that there's some intention here, the idea that if you continue to commit to selfishness, eventually it will become very clear. Right?
Yeah.
You will not be able to hide it if you keep acting selfishly.
Yeah.
And that feels clear, but again, that also, the fact that it is a magical effect kind of takes away the autonomy of it.
Mm.
And one of the things that's really important with kids is acknowledging, like, hey, you did that thing. That means you chose to do it.
Right.
Like, you might not have done it consciously, but one of the things I always used to tell kids back when I was a teacher, if they like push somebody, they were like, well, he made me. And I'd be like, who moves your body?
Mm.
Who moves your body when you walk? Who moves your arms when you point at things? You're the only one who moves your body.
Mm-hmm.
You did this thing.
And that's a really tough spot to get over in a developing child's mind, where certain reactions seem so instantaneous that you're like, oh, I didn't do that. You made me do that. That moment of reaction versus pausing to take a more deliberate action is something some people never learn.
Yeah, so, that's... I have said it before, I'll say it again. One of the things that was nice about working with kids is at least they have an excuse. They don't know it, it's because we didn't do our job teaching them. I've known 40-year-olds who just don't do that.
Yeah.
And we try to not hang around with them too much.
I just want to know how Gobo and Red got off that cliff.
Yeah.
I also want to know this. I feel like we missed an opportunity for some slapstick.
Oh, I wonder if maybe they... Remember in the episode where they had to stack up and pretend to be... what's his name? Sir Hubris.
Yeah.
Maybe they made another
stack of
Fraggles to
Fraggles
go up and reach.
It would have been so easy for Rempel and Large Marvin to be like, oh, okay, well, we're going to go to the Jock and Jockesses thing. Oh, do you want to bring your trampoline so you can show off your trick? Oh, I want to do that. And then they just happen to have a trampoline.
Yes.
And you get to see them go boing, boing. And then you get some little, talking as they're in the air. There was opportunity here.
It's a trampoline party.
Exactly.
Deus Ex Machina? No.
Deus Ex
Trampoline Ex Machina. There we go.
There you go.
Deus trampoline mach jumping. You don't. I want to just I know that there are times where I am critical of this show, and I just want to stress, as someone who is also a huge fan of this is not criticism coming from a place of like, oh man, this show is bad.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is like, I know what this show is capable of, and it is interesting to see when they reach those peaks and when they don't quite get there.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that they are capable of it makes me want to be able to name hey, this is a thing that I know they are capable of. It seems like they could have gone a little farther here.
Well, you're wrong, Adam. It's an A+ in my book.
Yeah, well, that's part of why nobody can find me on the internet, is nobody can tell me
Look,
that I am
every show
wrong.
can't be an A+, Adam. I mean, my God, they've got 26 episodes. Is that, or was it more?
Yeah, and look, I'll take a B minus. I'll take a solid B minus. There are episodes of Adventure Time that are not my favorite. There is even one that I would consider bad. Yeah. It's not good.
Wow.
I even get what they were going with, but it is, I think, worth exploring, both as fans and also as people who, care about Jim Henson's methods and intentions.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to talk about how to bring about world peace with stories, well, you got to learn from the greats, and sometimes that means learning where the greats didn't quite go as far as they could have.
And you got to learn from the grapes.
Hey.
And there it is.
Yes.
Speaking of learning from the grapes, we cut back to Doc and Sprocket, and Sprocket's just chilling on his lap while he sits on the chair.
Hey,
It's so
look at that.
sweet.
Everything was okay in the end.
Yeah.
It worked out.
Oh, anything else to say about the episode in general before we start wrapping up?
We didn't mention on it, but Wembley early on, and when he comes back, he wants to go to the messing around cave for messing around.
We're messing
And
around.
We
Oh,
never
yes.
hear really what that means, but I'm delighted that Fraggle Rock has a messing around cave.
I want to go to the messing around cave. That sounds amazing.
It's so great. It's definitely on my short list of ideas for what to name my new apartment.
Yes.
Because my last one was the Cave of Recombobulation. I'm like, what new Fraggle cave am I living in? And yeah, the messing around cave is definitely on that list.
Solid.
Excellent. I will say that when I was there too, I had just missed Jim Henson. He had been there the week before,
Oh no.
but his chair was on set. So I got to sit in the Jim Henson director's chair.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
That is a 12-year-old Muppet fan's dream right there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Mark, Gale, thank you so much for being with us here today. This was such a
Well,
delight.
thanks for having me, guys. This was fun. Like I say, I think about that experience every day. So the grapes of generosity are flowing down into my shoes.
Glorious.
There you go.
One of the things that we like to do at the end of each episode, Mark, is just talk about ways that we could make the world a little fragglier based on this episode.
Well, we definitely need to make the world fragglier. My God.
Don't we just?
So it's just nice to have a little break in the action and to have a little sunshine here with you guys and forget about the darkness out there.
Yeah, we were super happy to have you.
Let's all hang together and hold on to the rails. Hopefully we get through this mess.
That's good.
There you go.
Hang on to the rocks. Hold your boulder.
Hang on to the rocks.
Okay.
By your friend.
And give a piggyback ride when needed.
Beth, Julia, y'all got a way to make the world a little fragglier?
Fruit is always for sharing. Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's nice when summer comes and I go to the farmer's market and bring home a bunch of stuff that I just eat by myself, but it's the best when I get to make a big old fruit salad that I bring to some picnic where all my friends are at. That's just the best.
I had a friend swing by just to surprise me while I was asleep from a grave shift and drop off watermelon, which I then got to eat at 5 a.m. on that grave shift, and it was so tasty.
Nice.
That's the best.
I'll just say you can make the world a little fragglier by being just honest with your friends. You know, we all mess up, but, you know, coming clean about your mess up is better than just making up bizarre lie after bizarre lie and stressing yourself out.
Yeah, you're going to float if you do. So is that what you want?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You have been warned, audience.
I had somebody quote a quote to me that really stuck with me. Honesty in relationships is like multiplication to calculus.
Huh?
Like it's such a you need honesty to have a relationship the same way you need multiplication to do calculus.
Oh, as like a basic function of how it...
Like it's such a fundamental, simple building block of it.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna go ahead and say trade clothes with your friends and then see if you can trick your parents into letting you hang out longer. Doesn't matter how old you are. If you're 35, you can still try to trick your parents into letting you hang out with your friends longer.
That's the way to make the world fragglier. Have a clothing swap.
Mm-hmm. Do it. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for joining us, Mark. Would you like to let our listeners know where they can find you online if you wish to be found?
Yeah. So Ryan Dillon and myself and Frankie Cordero and Frank Cesario are we're getting ready to do another round of Dillon Gale shoots. And you can find us on Instagram at Dillon Gale Official. And we're on YouTube at Dillon Gale Studios. And we drop something new almost every Monday
Awesome.
on Instagram. So check us out.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, you can find me on social media at Beth Anna Cook. That's Anna with 2 N's. And occasionally writing stuff for Tough Pigs.
You can find me at Geek Girl Grown Up on social media. Also occasionally writing for Tough Pigs, and then juliagaskell.com for poetry.
You can find me on the ceiling because I didn't share the grapes.
Aww.
Please bring me a boulder.
We got to get you a boulder.
Or a weighted blanket or something.
All right, that is it for this one. Reminder to check out toughpigs.com. Give us a good review on your podcatcher of choice, and we will see you next time.
Don't forget to dance your cares away.
Bye.
Down to Fraggle Talk.
Wow.
Fraggle Talk Classic is brought to you by toughpigs.com. Fraggle Talk art by Dave Hulteen Jr. The Fraggle Rock mark and logo, characters, and elements are trademarks of the Jim Henson Company. All rights reserved. Fraggle Rock theme song, written by Philip Balsam and Dennis Lee, is used with permission. Special thanks to the Jim Henson Company and the entire Fraggle Rock family. For more from Tough Pigs, follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook, and make sure to check out our Discord server, TeePublic merch store, and Patreon. Fraggle Talk Classic is produced and edited by me, Beth Cook. Thank you to Joe Hennis, the Tough Pigs Muppet Fan Podcast executive producer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time, down at Fraggle Talk.
Glorious.
There you go.
Beth, do you want to tell us about the international versions real quick?
I would love to. There is nothing on Muppet Wiki about them.
Oh,
Oh,
well, hey, drive right into the ditch.
shoom, crunch.